the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round two. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
We are back here on 2G1C Red, White, and Blonde podcast here on the America First Warehouse and the America First Television and Media Network. Again, I'm Dale. That is Maureen. Thank you for joining us and starting your Tuesday off here in what is 2 full days of absolute incredible podcasts here on the America First Warehouse. So please like, follow, and share, and look at all the talent that's out there. It's incredible. And we're telling you the stories and the truth and our opinions that you won't hear from the mainstream media. That is for sure. Anything else on Lindsey Graham, Maureen, before we move on?
Just wanted to say that he was an elder statesman, and we're losing that generation. Not so much as in the Senate, but just the whole generation of growing up in a different time, having different values, viewing America differently. That generation is going away. And the new generation coming in doesn't respect the values of that other generation. And I'm not talking Republican or Democrat. I'm talking as a whole as society. Yeah. And seeing that video with him and his sister just really makes you realize that that was a time that we don't have anymore.
No,
and
I agree.
It's going away. And that's how I felt when I did the research about him and learned about some of these things. Is that's just a generation that's going away.
I call us the paper route generation. We grew up needing to work for what we wanted. They installed it from our parents, if you were fortunate enough to have that, in being responsible, being accountable, working for what you want in life. And I don't, we install that in our children, thank God. And of course, there are a lot of people that do that out there still, but it doesn't seem to be as prevalent as it once was, for sure.
Because society is not everyone is doing what you and I are doing with our children. My children are grown adults, but we're fighting an uphill battle against the schools and the media and culture and, all these things. And another thing about our generation, me in particular, I had my grandparents. I had my grandmother until I was 50. That's pretty unusual.
That's correct.
And they were Depression, World War II. So we had that generation also raising us. And that's all gone now.
It's all gone. And so, that's a good point and something to really ponder on for sure in the future as we see the lunatic fringe moving up in the ranks across the country. It's frightening to think about. So if we can real quick, we got a lot to discuss, but Mitch McConnell, let's move to who we actually thought was going to be the the news over the weekend. Posted a photo, which you tell me what you want about it. It's either an old photo or AI'd to me. It's not. That's not recent. That's not yesterday in his hospital bed in his shirt and blue jeans with zero equipment like attached to him. Like this, all it screams. We're covering up something.
Yeah.
That's what it screams to me. You feel that same way then?
Yeah, I ran that photo through AI and it said non. I have Grok. I ran it through. It said, no, this is not AI. People have said it is. I think they're smart enough.
They're both things. It is and it isn't. So it's like,
I think they're smart enough to know better than to try to do an AI because that would be found out so quickly. It would be debunked. I agree with you. It could be an older picture. My concerns are Scott Jennings coming out saying that Mitch McConnell called him and they had a 20-minute. I have a real problem because if that, and there's two other, I believe, senators.
Everybody was having 20-minute phone calls with him. Yeah.
And my husband was in the ICU for 3.5 weeks before he died. I called him every night. He didn't talk to me. The nurse put the phone next to his ear and I could talk. That's what I first thought Scott Jennings did. And then I went back and listened to it and it said, no, Mitch McConnell called him. How they're going to pull this off, because they pretty much have to right now because they're so embedded in this trap if they don't. Unless they tell us all of this and then suddenly he passes. And
which is what is going to happen. That's the outcome I think is going to happen. They're telling all this. We talked to him. He was in good spirits. Oh, he just didn't make it. Pneumonia, whatever.
That's the only way out at this point, right? It's like he suddenly, because I'm certain that Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene, is going to proceed on his path of his voting and what is, so they're fine there. If they can pretend that Mitch is okay and I don't know. Are they going to call for an in-person vote, or is he going to be able to vote from?
Yeah, he's not even he's incapacitated at this point, and which doesn't allow him to actually vote. I think at that point, how they
is it? Yeah,
I believe that's true. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody, it's fine. I'm quite often wrong, but then that leaves now you're down to 49, right? 49 votes, 49 senators.
You got J.D. Vance, but that would only come in as the 50th, not as 51.
That may be 50-50. Things aren't getting done.
Yeah.
What happens now with Kentucky's governor if they so choose and Mitch McConnell does pass away? I think that's where this negotiation is going on, if you ask me. Yeah. What's going on next? He wants to appoint a Democrat. There's all sorts of ramifications for what the eventual outcome is or is going to be.
So could Mitch McConnell's wife step in?
I don't know.
I don't think Kentucky has said. But every state is different how they handle the situation. I found out too. What's her name? Elaine Chao. Her parents. She comes from a family in China that owns a huge shipping company. Huge shipping company. And she was our transportation secretary. Very interesting, right?
Yeah.
She hauled her cookies over to China. What did she do? Because of the Strait? Did she want to make sure her family's shipping line gets through? All
why
of
did
that.
she go there? What was there's a lot. So appointing her doesn't excite me whatsoever.
Well, she'd maybe at least get the SAVE Act going.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe she'd do that.
But I don't know if Kentucky. I don't know how Kentucky law. I don't know. They're a lot different than, like I said on one of our last shows. It's state by state how they decide these things. And I don't know. But that's my guess, that Mitch McConnell is going to be great, fine, and then all of a sudden he's going to pass away. None of this is ever going to be able to be verified, right?
I agree with that. I do have somebody you and I follow very closely on X and TikTok, Desiree Townsend, independent journalist, doing a great job. I do have a clip of her talking about, I think this might have been yesterday's video. Do you want to see this real quick? Or if you have, you probably have, but I don't know out there if you're not following her, you need to. Bill, it would be clip 8, if you could play that real quick. Hopefully.
All right, everyone. So we are outside George Washington University Hospital here. We are going to do a day 30 Mitch McConnell check to see if the miracle, the medical miracle that this man is, still has his Capitol Police detail outside of the hospital. So without further ado, oh, yep, sure enough, they are still here. So Senator McConnell is still present here at George Washington University Hospital as of today, Monday, July 13th, a little after 3 p.m. So hopefully between his Capitol Police presence here and that definitely not AI generated photo, we now have proof of life.
Yeah. So she's daily out there.
Yeah,
We'll get one today. We may have already done it. I haven't looked, but she's out there.
Desiree, we want you on our show. I've been trying to reach you. You're not easy to reach. We want you on our show. Come on our show.
It's hard.
Yeah,
I emailed as well, and we're like, we don't know if it gets. I don't know if I don't know if any of the emails ever get through to the person we really want, or if it's being scanned and looked at prior to. And I'm sure it
is.
But she's
interesting point. And she's been covering him at the hospital this whole time.
Yep.
If he's in rehab, do they have a rehab facility inside George Washington University Hospital? Because his Capitol Police have been there this whole entire time. So if he was in another facility, his Capitol detail would be in another facility. So does he have?
Unless they're decoys or, unless they're just like, you stay here. He's passed away. He's on life support, whatever he is. He's probably, I don't want to say that he has died, but he's probably brain dead at this point. I would think. And
the chances of somebody that age being on a ventilator for that amount of time, you have like a 5% chance of fully recovering, because it's even for my husband, who was on a ventilator for 3.5 weeks, who was very healthy.
Yes.
If he would have gotten better and had been taken off that ventilator, it would have been such a long process, because your body, I mean, you even have to learn how to re-speak. You have to have speech therapy after you're on a vent.
Correct.
So very, very unlikely that if he has been on life support that long, that he would just be able to sit up in bed and say, "Oh, hi, I'm awake. Yeah, I feel good."
Here, take a picture with me holding this newspaper or whatever. Almost like a hostage video, or a picture showing the newspaper and the date or whatever it is that they're doing.
And I don't think they have kids, do they, Elaine? And I don't think they have children. I've never looked at it, but I've never heard mentioned. So
nor are the kids that you would think they would be there at the hospital or something like that. And so,
what about the reporting? What about the reporting that Desiree did about the guy coming out with the floor samples and carpeting samples?
Yes, and redoing the home. Like,
what are they doing?
Yes, and then of course you saw the ambulance photo or video.
Not a big hurry. Not a big urgency.
Covered up except his feet, which was weird. But anyways, it was not urgent. So our thought process here in the last 25 seconds of this segment is, I think he's dead. I think maybe you think so. I think the world thinks so in a way. They're not telling us because of the political ramifications of it all and what the next steps are for the state of Kentucky.
Lindsey Graham dying took the focus off of McConnell for a while, so they have some time to shift their stories, right?
So, folks, we will be right back after this. Thank you for staying tuned.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born. Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Bisconte, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers. PatriotMobile.com / it bends to the right. I don't have to tell you. TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. Podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
And welcome back, everybody, again. Thank you for joining us here at 2G1C Red, White, and Blonde podcast here on the America First Warehouse and America First Media and Television Network. I say that every time we come back because you need reminded to go download their app, go follow them online at the AmericaFirstWarehouse.com, and so on and so forth. So, Maureen, we want to talk a little bit about the Tyler Robinson trial that's going on. And I don't normally like to say the person's name who's the committed murderer, right?
Well, he's not committed yet. He's alleged.
Not committed. The accused murderer. But it's about Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs and all that's going on there. But of course, the murder of Charlie Kirk. One way or the other, no matter how you feel about it. The murder of Charlie Kirk. You have some points you want to address on this. Yes. Is this based on after what you've seen in the pre-trial hearings? And
well, yeah, I did watch pretty much the whole entire preliminary hearing. I watched it live or I watched clips of it, but I did every day last week watch it. Very disturbed by a lot of what I saw. So I have 5 things that make me question if Tyler Robinson or how this was handled and why it was handled this way. So number 5, this was not a federal crime. Tyler Robinson did not cross state lines. He drove from one part of Utah to the other part of Utah. This is not a federal crime. Why was the FBI brought in or came in on their own? I don't have verification if the Utah local authorities did this. Or did the FBI just come in? The FBI came in, did their investigation, did what they wanted to do, and then they turned it over to the local authorities. Why?
Good question.
Why? That is, I was married to a cop, a hardened street cop for 25 years, my husband. Like, I learned a lot in that marriage about what's done, how crime scenes are handled. Yes. My immediate, even when this first happened, I remember thinking like, why are they cleaning up? Why is there nobody around the perimeter? Why aren't they taking care of this crime scene? Like, what's going on? So that's my number 5. Yep. Why did the feds come in?
Because on any average murder or death,
a local
like
murder,
a local murder, would be handled by local authority. FBI,
yes.
that's right.
And again, I can't verify if the local authorities called in the FBI or did the FBI just
or somebody
come in?
got directed the FBI to go in.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Why was the SUV they used to transport Charlie Kirk's body after the alleged shooting?
Mm-hmm.
It was totally cleaned out and sold a week later.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be an absolute necessity to keep that as part
100%
of evidence? It carried
100%.
the victim to the hospital.
Yes.
From what I've heard, I haven't quite verified, but supposedly it was sold to a person in Los Angeles area that has ties to Donald Trump. They were somehow business associates.
Yeah.
I can't verify it totally, but those are I've heard that said.
Mm-hmm.
But that carried the body, blood, DNA, evidence, everything.
Could be
And they
potential bullet fragments, anything that could have
everything.
happened. Everything that could have happened.
And they didn't drive to the nearest hospital. They went to one that was several miles farther away.
Yeah, why is that?
Why was there no 911 ambulance, medics? They just which I can understand when cops get shot in the street, they do a scoop and run. They just scoop them and they go because it's, but none of that makes sense. And then to totally strip down and clean that SUV and sell it.
Leaves everything open to question at that point. Yeah.
Why was the area that he was shot on, killed on, that pavilion area, tore up within 10 days, I think? 10 days. Or 7 days, totally torn up, and 10 inches of new soil put in and new pavers.
Correct.
And when they questioned the lead investigator in the preliminary trial about it, he said he didn't know about it.
What?
Yes. In the prelim, he said, I don't know anything about, I didn't know about that. So the reason, the theory is why they had to put in 10 inches of new dirt is because there's it's called petin, and that is that's a substance that's released after a bomb goes off.
Correct.
And they have to totally take away every bit of it. So nobody will ever go back there and be able to test the soil and say, well, there is bomb.
There's bomb. Exactly. Yeah. If you don't know about petin, really look that up. It's interesting. Very interesting. Go on. Mm-hmm.
That, and the fact that the lead investigator testified in the prelim that he didn't know it. He didn't know. I didn't know. Not that I was impressed with him anyways.
Correct.
The autopsy report. It is in the state of Utah. Legally, they don't have to make an autopsy report public.
Yep.
So therefore, we'll never see it. Did they choose Utah for a reason? Because they knew that?
Yeah. Good question. I mean, other states, I'm sure, have that. But yeah, Utah that's an interesting. And even in
we'll never see
reports, I don't know what I'd believe in an autopsy report anyways.
Right. But the fact that it's a state that doesn't allow it,
is interesting.
And my number one question is, why are we not allowed to ask these things? Because this has become a battle between conservatives against conservatives.
Yep. Correct.
The media, we've got all the conservative media, absolutely. Tyler, he did it. We were there. We saw it.
We saw the video. We saw the HD version 4K. We saw him close up, pulling the trigger. We could see
which I saw two actual young girls that were in. They were able to get passes to get in to see that day. And they said the video was horrible. You couldn't see anything.
Yeah. Why are they coming out with that? The video is and if they had that, we've had 10 months of pure back and forth infighting, accusations, conspiracies, or realities. Nobody really knows. And if you have that kind of video, you want to put that out there. Like, this is a guy who did it. And here it is.
Well, in my opinion, they're doing their best to taint the jury pool. They're definitely getting ahead of this to taint the jury pool.
Mm-hmm.
I think the judge is horrible. Why does he need until September 1st to make his decision on this?
Of course. Why?
He's a feckless judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a prosecutor. But for him, I think he's only been on the bench for 4 months.
Wow.
And he gets this case.
Pretty high profile case. for him to have
Yes.
to take.
And
Yep.
there were so many times during the prelim, he didn't know how to make a decision. He hesitated, he didn't know.
Mhm.
But for him to have to come out and say, we need until September 1st to come to a decision, I think this case, if it goes to trial, originally I thought, no, it's not going to go to trial. They're going to plead us out, take the death penalty off. He's going to plead guilty. I don't know. That could still happen. But it's going to make the OJ trial look like a kindergarten class.
Yeah,
it's
is it
going to
gonna be
really.
Is it going to be fully shown? Is it going to be
I don't know. I mean, they haven't.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't said.
But it's going to be intense. And if I were his defense team, boy, I'd be jumping down every one of these leads and rabbit holes. And I mean, the cell phone they held up to show the text messages, and the time of the phone was broken, so you can't. Why aren't you downloading those messages? Why aren't you showing these? Or it just
and maybe they are. I mean, I know it's preliminary, and I know you don't have to show all evidence. You just got to show reasonable doubt and proof that.
You got to show good evidence.
You got to show good evidence, but I
mean,
think
the camera stuff is bad. There's like 2 different cars that they're trying to say that were his. The front of the cars don't match. I mean, I'm sorry. With today's day and age and technology and everything that we have, they should have the most incredible. This looks like footage from the Patty Hearst bank robbery in 1974. This horrible.
Does anybody remember that out there?
I was 10, I remember, and I lived in San Francisco. That was a big story.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, but I lived through that as a kid.
Through the Patty Hearst story, yep.
But it was like this horrible, you can't see who that is trying to come down the stairs. And
what did you think of the testimony from Lance Twiggs? The question.
Very weird. Very weird.
Wasn't it?
Very weird. His eyes were very weird. His mouth moved weird. I mean,
it's a weird. That's a weird situation to begin with.
And I want to just speak to I listened to your show yesterday, and you were talking about Erica and the widow, and I was a widow. Okay, I lost my husband in the most horrific manner, and. Maybe it wasn't such a shock. I mean, he wasn't shot and killed, but he died in 3 weeks. I had 3 weeks to maybe process it, but you don't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he had an enormous funeral because it was a police funeral. The last thing I would have been able to do is get up and speak. I couldn't even, when I was originally watching Erica Kirk those first few days, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give her credit because I was a widow. And then the more I watched, I was like, I couldn't even.
I have since the beginning been saying something just doesn't add up with her to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not pulling the Candace Owens. She pulled the trigger. She fully involved in it all. There's just.
I couldn't even imagine.
That just doesn't make sense to me here.
I just couldn't. Taking pictures of my husband in the casket, speaking that huge funeral and the fireworks, all of that stuff. Like I literally couldn't talk. And I am a talker. I am immediate. I've always been able to get up, and I was in no condition.
I think at that funeral, the moment when she looked up and said, "I forgive him," I just did not feel right to me at all.
And then every time we saw her at events,
with that, or if I lose followers or whatever the story, it just doesn't add up to me.
Yeah. And every time we would see her at all these different events, and she'd be in these sequin dresses and be a Jackie Kennedy, not a Kardashian.
And everybody grieves different, though, Maureen. That's the story. That's the theory. That's what they tell you. Everybody grieves differently. I mean, yes, I get that, but that was just a weird grieving process for me. That's the way she grieves.
And I'm a widow. I can speak to what it's like to feel
That is correct. 5 seconds left. We've got more show, that's for sure. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Hey, Paul, I was having a pillow fight with Gino's wife.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's
I
not
was
supposed
there.
to stay
I
up that
remember.
late.
I have the video. And now let me tell you, talk about soft. When I think soft pillows, I think of, other than Gino's wife, mypillow.com. Because these are the best pillows you're ever going to get. You can go to mypillow.com /TAFW. Go now, get your My Pillow right now.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today.
You know, I got to tell you, a lot of my followers are asking, hey, Midnight, where are you getting all that energy from? I say, you want to know the truth? I take about 25 milligrams of Adderall a day. But that eventually ends, and then that's where a Gara coffee comes in. I start drinking this stuff, and it boosts my energy. It shoots me right through to the moon. If you're not drinking a Gara coffee, and you need that extra boost during the middle of the day, I'm telling you right now, get this into your system, and I promise you that it will absolutely take you to a whole nother level. Midnight, I am out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
And we are back again here, 2G1C and Red, White, and Blonde podcast here on the America First Media and Television Network. Briefly, we ended with the last segment with Charlie Kirk. One thing I like most people have seen probably the incredibly slowed down versions from different angles of that day and that event, right? Bullet just doesn't do that. I just got to say, I can't see in any world where the bullet causes that shirt to go up, the whole, there's no exit. So you tell me, I mean, your thoughts on just the overall, where I think we all have the conspiracy on it. We all have the exploding microphone theory. I truly believe that one. That's just my thought process on it, because it doesn't look like a gunshot, and the way the shirt reacts and everything else is something coming from underneath out.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. And I'm kind of getting to the point now where I just don't think we're ever going to know. I think this case, they're either going to take a plea in this case. They'll take the death penalty off. He'll go to life in prison and we'll never hear it again. Yeah, or they go to trial, which I don't know. I'm just not sure. I'm really not sure what's going to happen.
I don't think they go to trial. I think there's a plea. Yeah. I don't think they go to trial at all. I think there's going to be
the trial would take about 7 years with that judge. He's far worse than Judge Ito was during the OJ trial.
Yep,
so
correct.
Do you want to spend the next 7 years listening to this judge having to pause and think and go ask somebody? His law clerk is probably the one making all the decision, and the law clerk is probably like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, crazy. You're probably right. You're probably right about that. Well, more to come on that. We shall see what happens there. Let's talk about real quick this. You want to talk about ICE. We want to talk about what happened in Houston, also what happened in Maine, because I don't know that Houston's getting much attention at this point. It did, but it's kind of similar scenarios. Explain the Houston one and a little bit further detail about what happened.
So, the Houston shooting originally the district attorney, the police chief, and the mayor were all in support of ICE. And they were saying that, we're staying out of this. This is a federal investigation. Now they flipped and they're all coming down on ICE, which is so typical. They're pandering to their base. That's exactly what they do. I just want to say the local authorities have zero jurisdiction over federal authorities. The only time a local authority could arrest a federal agent if they are off duty and say they get a DUI. Or they get in a fight, or they get arrested for a civil dispute, something like that. That is it. But under the color of law, you cannot arrest a federal agent for doing their job. So all this brouhaha and all this, they are simply pandering to their base.
It's talk.
That is it.
Action, even available action options for them.
Exactly. And sanctuary cities are not law.
Correct.
It is not law. It's a policy. So it is not law. They are not legally to do anything. So this individual has been in the country since 1990, never applied for any asylum, never applied, came from Mexico, came in illegally. I can't think of his name, but was able to work, probably had an I-9 number, which is what they do. Buy a home, have a bank account, have 3 children. From what I can understand, he worked construction, which is very typical because they get paid cash under the table. They're able to buy homes through family member, somebody puts their name on it, then they change the deed. There's all kinds of things, which that is now really cracked down. They're not allowing illegals to have bank accounts anymore. They can't have driver's licenses. I mean, all of these things, all these loopholes. All these loopholes that we had for years. I think this guy came into the country in 1990. 3 adult sons. I mean, by all means, all intents purposes, he looks like he's a good person, worked, except he's here illegally. And you know what? The people that cannot get that out of their head, that means he's taking jobs from an American, home buying ability from an American, tax money from Americans, health, but all these things that they were able to do for over 35 years. American citizens weren't able to do that. Was driving with 3 other people going to work. It's kind of sketchy. They're not sure who they were going after, but he evaded. There's no body cam because ICE did not have body cam because of the last 2 shutdowns, last 2 government shutdowns that shut down DHS. So body cams were in the process of being done, but we had the government shutdowns. Thank you to the Democrats. And but they have street footage. They have flock cam, they have footage, and he absolutely evaded. He said he was scared. He didn't know. He knew. I guess he had tried to apply for asylum like 18 months ago. That's probably why he got flagged in the system.
Probably
because he tried to. So again, it's just going to be another, it has kind of quieted down a little bit with Houston, but these politicians that are getting out there screaming about going after ICE, they have no authority. It's pandering to the base. So what happened in Maine? Give me the details.
Well, Maine, so they tried to, he evaded they tried to stop him. I have, let me go to, if I can, let's do clip 1 if we can, Bill. This hopefully will explain what exactly happened there, but he tried to evade a place. 1, please.
This officer behind me, we're on Hill Street. The officer is standing at the intersection with Bacon Street, turning cars away from the next street up, which is Pool Street. And we know that's closed. We're seeing several police cruisers up there with officers at both ends. I spoke to a neighbor who lives here on Hill Street, just a few houses down from this intersection. She told me she was woken up around 8 o'clock this morning by the sound of gunshots and then a lot of sirens and this heavy police presence. And we are hearing that ICE officers were involved in this shooting, but she told me she had not noticed an increased ICE presence or had not heard about them being in this neighborhood. She did comment that she's always felt safe here living on Hill Street and is now questioning her safety this morning. We are still waiting for more details about exactly what happened and the reason for this shooting, but those details have not yet been released. released. For now, reporting live in Biddeford, I'm Jamie Azoulay, Maine's Total Coverage.
Now let's go to, there's a witness who watched what occurred. Young gentleman, I don't know how old, but he's young. Clip 9 will kind of give you his take on what he saw occur there. So clip 9, please, Bill.
I would say 7:15. I was driving through the intersection at Hill Street and Pool Street, and as I was approaching, you could see flashing blue lights, and then as I got closer, they were unmarked, so I assumed they were ICE, and then you could see them with their green vests and stuff, and it said police, ICE, and so as I actually was going through the intersection, I heard yelling. So I know I'm supposed to be paying attention, but I heard yelling off to my... So I looked, and I was watching, and the ICE agent was yelling and drew his weapon, and he kept yelling and warning the person driving, which is when the car was put into drive and was trying to hit the ICE officer, and he fired, I would say, probably 4 shots at him. And then by that time, I was also through, the intersection, so I just heard the popping, but I did see him draw his gun at the windshield. And then the car, you could see the car in the back, like rolling down the street afterwards.
So there you have it, from an eyewitness, and in film.
Told him to stop.
Told him to stop numerous times. As they should. I think people take a look at these situations, and like you said, they're like, why, they don't have to shoot them. These people are using their vehicles as weapons. This is the Renee Good situation all over again. Don't interfere. Do what we were all raised to do. Listen to authority. What would the worst that would have happened to this guy? He would have went home.
Same thing with the guy in Houston.
Home. Yep.
Yep. Same thing with the guy in Houston. He would have had, he'd be alive for his 3 kids, but again, being married to a cop, my husband always said, when they run, when they run,
And this guy not only ran, but then intentionally took his vehicle and tried to run over the ICE officer again.
And the cop situation. Or the ICE agent, the law enforcement agent across the board, they have a milliliter of a second to make that decision.
They do.
And it is up to their decision if they feel at that moment their life is in danger.
And clearly,
that's the way the law is. It comes down to that.
Correct.
Nobody else can come in. No expert with nobody else can come in and say, well, no, it is how the officer felt at that moment. If you felt in that moment your life was in danger, you have the right to protect yourself against a moving vehicle.
You do. You absolutely do. Having said that, at this point, the protesters are out like crazy.
Of course.
They are out, bad ICE, bad government.
Couldn't have happened at a better time, too, with what's happening politically in Maine.
Correct. Exactly. Absolutely. Oddly enough, right? So it's very interesting what is happening there. Clearly, I think the lesson here, people, and we all know it, is don't interfere.
Comply. The lesson is comply.
The ICE agents across the country daily are doing this, and without people being shot, and without people being killed, and without people trying to run over or kill the ICE agents themselves. It's like anything. You comply, you listen. Guess what? Better things are going to happen to you, unless you're, have just murdered somebody. But like with most of these people, they're going to get a trip home free. That's it, to their own home. They might not like their own home, but they'll be alive to try again another day,
Exactly.
And they just won't listen. And it's just,
it's all of these criminals that are out on the street that don't comply. And they don't realize you catch another charge. Now you got a felony. Now you're going, comply. You have to comply. And you won't have these problems.
And they'll be alive. We've got more to come here, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born, Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Bisconte, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers. patriotmobile.com / it bends to the right. I don't have to tell you. TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast. That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. Podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
And we are back here, 2G1C and Red, White, and Blonde podcast on the America First Network. President Trump's going to go in front of the nation this Thursday. And the speculation and some of what's come out about it is going to be revolved around, I'm sure some of it will be Iran, some of it will be going on. There'll be other points he'll want to talk about, but it's the big one and the main one. And what we think it's going to be is the election fraud. What was the election integrity issue, specifically in Georgia and Fulton County and that. Maureen, what do you think is going to come of this? And do you think is it going to be shocking news, not to those who knew what was going on or have speculated since the 2020 election, but what do you think happens if that's the case?
Well, why is he doing it in prime time? Mm-hmm. He's got something to say.
He's got to. Right.
He's going in front of the nation, I believe, at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do this very often. He does a lot of press conferences. He does a lot of stuff from the Oval.
He's very available to everybody a lot of times.
Yeah,
but
yes. He's calling a full-on speaking to the nation from the Oval Office. Mm-hmm. So Iran, is he going to make a huge announcement? I tend to think not, because he just has been doing these huge bombings anyways, right? Yes,
correct.
I don't think there's going to be a declaration of war. He can't do that. He has to have Congress.
Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
He may talk about Iran. He may speak about it, but I don't think that calls for a 9 o'clock presidential address to the nation, because he just tells everybody what he's doing anyways, and he tweets it out, and they say it could be a general patriotic speech, 250. I don't think so. He did that.
I don't think so either.
The whole week of July 4th leading up to. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of people talking to me about it's going to be about the election in Fulton County, which if we go back to 2020, a lot of us probably have tried to block that night out.
Yeah, that's correct.
Or that whole time period out.
Yeah.
But Fulton County did some shifty things to get those two Democrats elected,
Yes,
the
correct.
senators, the Democrats. And
in a very, very always and has been red state, you know?
yes. And they did things like there was a water main line broke in the room where they were counting the ballots. Yeah. And so there was water damage. So the Democrats were John Ossoff and Rachel Warnock that were given the election. Fulton County is very, very, very sketchy. There's no, you know, they just had a judge that was having an affair with her deputy or her bailiff, and that was the judge that convicted the Chrisley family.
Yes, correct.
Chrisleys.
Yep, that's right.
And that was all a fraud case that should have never been brought into court. I mean, Fulton County is very, very iffy. And then if we remember back in January, FBI went in with Tulsi Gabbard to get the ballots. And that I've never seen that happen in my lifetime.
Me neither. Me neither. I mean, so
they went in there and those Democrats fought them and this is racism and they have no rights to it. And they plowed right through them.
They did.
And they went in there and they got those ballots. So it's been since January. We're now in July. I would say that's probably enough time to have gone through those ballots.
Yes.
So what's he going to say?
What is he going to say? It's going to be very interesting. I get to spend a week of my life next week up in Fulton County, which will be the longest week of my life, most likely. But that's that's where I will be. And,
then you should get your mic.
Interesting.
Bring your mic. And
believe me, I will try to see what I can see.
Run down to the courthouse.
I should go down there and see what is happening. I'll try to get the governor on. We'll see.
But what can be done? I don't know election law. I'm not a constitutional attorney. I don't know. I don't know if they can undo this. It's been 6 years.
Yeah, I sure would like to have. I should like to hear from Sidney Powell on it because there's people, and of course the warehouse itself is very affiliated with Rudy Giuliani, who would also be a good, obviously expert on that. I don't know what could happen after the fact. You could say, okay, this election was fraudulent. I think we all believe that. Those that listen and knew something was up on that night anyways will always believe, and I have since that day that something was fishy. But
why address the nation?
The nation.
The prime time, that has to be something.
And will MS now even show will they all show it? CNN will, of course, because they need ratings, doesn't matter. But MS Now is pretty stringent on cutting him off and any press conference or any rally or anything like that. So I'd be interested if they don't show it. But it will go across the mainstream media, who will watch it again, because...
But I mean, for him to take to the national audience on a Thursday night...
It's a bold move.
Big. Because he has a platform. He doesn't care. He talks from wherever.
Doesn't matter.
Getting on the plane, getting off the helicopter.
Anything he says gets spread around the world.
Yeah, anyways. He stops and talks to everybody, the press corps, I don't know. I can't even think in the last 2 years, has he addressed the nation during prime time?
Yes.
I'm sure he has. I probably just can't think of what he did.
And it wasn't that long ago that I remember, but I think he did, and I can't remember either. But I know he did.
When we were growing up, when the president came on TV, because it was not
that was big news.
Coverage.
You sat in front of the.
I mean, my mom, nobody better call because the president's talking. Phone rang. President's talking. Let it ring. It was a big deal because we didn't have.
That's the generation we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the generation to bring it full circle to the Lindsey Graham story.
But we didn't have 24-hour news. We didn't have all of this. So I still, I guess, as my little kid at heart, think, wow, he's going to talk to the nation. Like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. But I do think this is something
I think it's a big deal too. I think a lot of people who don't think it's a big deal are people who don't want to believe it or don't want to hear anything he says or are anti-Trump to begin with. So of course they're not going to think it's a big deal. And two, maybe because he is so available a lot of times, walking out of the White House, anywhere he goes, he will gladly answer a question, whether, you want him to or not even. Sometimes like, just keep walking, don't talk, but he's that available, most available president, I think, in our lifetime, if not ever. So maybe a lot of people are thinking of that way. Well, he's coming out, he talks all the time. I mean, it'll just be, I don't think so. This is primetime stuff. Is something a big issue going on. And again, I agree with you. I don't know what can happen I don't know what proof they would present that I kind of already don't know about in a way where, and when I say don't know about, at least in my mind,
but now they're going to present the proof.
Now they are.
Once they do that, once he comes to the American people and says, this is what happened and we have undeniable proof, is he going to lay out what's going to happen? That's what I think.
I hope so. So I hope so. At this is the step. This is where we're going. These people are, it's going to, you want to talk about high profile case. And then you're right. What happens to those senators? They just like, we retire, we leave, it's gone. We have runoffs. We have new, I don't know the story to that, but it's going to be very interesting to see.
And is he going to have information on the federal election, the presidential election?
Well, I would think that all ties in.
That would require prime time. That
would require prime time. I don't think it's just the senators, but I think you proved that these senators were elected fraudulently. Why, oddly enough, that same amount went to Joe Biden, or that, I think that's what really has to come out of this. Is he going
to come out and say the entire 2020 election was fraudulent and here's the proof? Now that's would be prime time
television. And I hope that's the case. I hope it's surrounded by what they found in Fulton County, but then they have, here's what happened in Detroit, Michigan. Here's what happened in
Pennsylvania.
Here's what happened in, So, because we all know that was all, they all had their own issues to stop counting.
And let's tie this into Air Force One and the security breach.
Yes.
Okay. There's going to be a grand jury hearing tomorrow, July 15th, from who leaked this to the New York Times.
Four journalists.
Journalists. I'm a journalist, not big time, but I know better than to do that. Leaked it to the New York Times. They were told not to.
Yeah, they were.
Then when it was found out, the FBI went to the New York Times and said, do not print this. Do not. They did anyways.
Yeah.
Air Force One, we know they had the switcheroo from the new plane to the old plane, brought him home. Somebody know about him knowing if that's what he's going to speak about on Thursday night?
Maybe.
Because they better batten down the hatch. Trump better not leave the White House till he speaks on Thursday night. This is what he's going to talk about.
Yeah. When we come back from this for our final segment, I do want to get your opinion on journalism in general and the requests that are asked of journalists to not report on something or to keep it hush hush for now, and what the legal obligation is, if there is one, for a journalist not to report on something or not to say anything. I asked this, and don't answer it yet, but you can when you come back. But I asked that because, of course, you want the scoop, and you want and journalism these days. Of course, they leak that, but they talk nothing about the billions of dollars of fraud in California or Minnesota. Or, they don't do their journalistic jobs. Obviously, we know that these days. They're certainly controlled by the Democrat Party and liberals in general. But just the legal ramifications of it all and what really should occur if asked not to report on something. We've all seen covert shows, and you watch House of Cards, right, or a show like that, and it's like, they leak it out and they report, that kind of thing. Next thing you know,
they have their sources.
They have their sources.
They have their sources.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, talking about that when we come back, I'd like to hear your opinion on that. So, folks, final segment coming up. It goes by too quick. We will be right back.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic, America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA store.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Hey, Paul, I was having a pillow fight with Gino's wife.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's
I
not
was
supposed
there.
to stay
I
up that
remember.
late.
I have the video. And now let me tell you, talk about soft. When I think soft pillows, I think of, other than Gino's wife, mypillow.com. Because these are the best pillows you're ever going to get. You can go to mypillow.com /TAFW. Go now, get your My Pillow right now.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today.
You know, I got to tell you, a lot of my followers are asking, hey, Midnight, where are you getting all that energy from? I say, you want to know the truth? I take about 25 milligrams of Adderall a day. But that eventually ends, and then that's where a Gara coffee comes in. I start drinking this stuff, and it boosts my energy. It shoots me right through to the moon. If you're not drinking a Gara coffee and you need that extra boost during the middle of the day, I'm telling you right now, get this into your system, and I promise you that it will absolutely take you to a whole nother level. Midnight, I am out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
This is it, our final segment of the day on Tuesday. Thank you again for joining myself and Maureen here on the America First Network and the America First Media and Television Network. Stay tuned after this for the America First Warehouse podcast with Joe the Box and the guys. Great lineup of podcasts all day. So please stay tuned for that. Right before the break, I asked about journalism, and I kind of wanted to get your take because you were in that field and still are technically in that field. That's who you are. Except you have integrity. So I don't really like calling you a journalist. You know, I wish there was a better name for it. But at any rate, what are the legal obligations of, if I were to tell you, don't leak this, don't let this get out, do not report on this, and then you do.
You never reveal your sources, and you are protected by the First Amendment for free speech, covering press. So I have had many. In fact, I shared one story with you when I was interviewing Eric Swalwell on the night of Obama getting elected. And I asked him, how do you feel about this? And he said, I'm not happy. And I said, can I go on the record with it? And he said, no. And I never said that to anyone until he got himself in the trouble he got himself into. And then I came out and said, no, this kind of man he was.
This is who he is.
That was my first thought about him. So if you know when you're interviewing someone and they're telling you something, not on camera, if you're just having a face-to-face interview with them, or not on the radio, and then you say, wow, can I go on the record? And if they say no, you do not. And when I would do radio, I used to do like a 3-minute warm-up with have the person, because they called into the station. It wasn't sometimes we did face-to-face, but I always, especially if I was interviewed, like I interviewed Clint Hill, who was a Secret Service agent that was in Dallas the day that Kennedy was assassinated. Best interview of my whole career.
Wow.
I asked him before we went on air, I said, are there any things that you do not want to talk about and that you don't want me to ask you? And
Yes.
at the time, that's when the Secret Service was involved in that prostitution ring, like in Colombia or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And he said, I don't want to talk about that, which I wasn't going to ask him because I was more interested in the Kennedy,
Yep. Correct.
And I said, oh, absolutely. And I said, is there anything that you don't want me to ask you about what happened on November 22nd? He said, no, I'll answer any questions.
Awesome.
So those are the things that I would do because you don't want to be in the middle, especially a big interview like that.
But that's integrity issues.
And you don't ever want the person you're interviewing to feel cornered or all of a sudden they're defensive and they don't want to talk to you. And that's a lot of what we see now. Everybody wants a got you moment. Yep. Everybody wants that 30-second hit they can put out and get all the clicks.
That's our attention span too at this point. At this point.
And so yeah, you never reveal your sources. If you're told not to print something, especially by the FBI.
Yeah.
In what world do we live in where the New York Times think that they can disobey the FBI?
Yeah, that's the times we live in. They think they can.
And they went with that story about Air Force One not being safe.
Yes, correct.
That is like treason. That is the absolute...
It's a security risk. That's a high security risk.
Unbelievable. And to think that a newspaper just threw ethics to the wind and was like, no, I'm gonna print this story because because
we're failing anyway. So what do I have to lose? Maybe, we're failing as a media source. And
so now those 4 they have a grand jury hearing tomorrow.
Yep.
And they're going to most likely be indicted. I wouldn't doubt it.
They're not going to claim free speech, freedom of speech. That's not going to be the defense.
Well,
it's got to be. I would think it had to be their defense. And is it a viable one?
Why did they give the information to the newspaper? They shouldn't have. They should not have given absolute critical security for the United States security information to the press. At all.
Correct.
That should never even enter the mind of someone who's covering the president. I'm assuming these reporters were on Air Force One. They were part of the gaggle. They were part of the press pool.
They'd have to be. Yes.
I mean, good luck. Now you're
good luck now.
Yeah, you're going to probably be indicted.
Yeah.
I don't know if treason. I don't know what they would. I don't know what the charges could be, but
true.
You are taking. Did they? And I'm thinking I heard that they got the information from the Secret Service.
I think so. Yes.
So they took information from the Secret Service and then brought it to the New York Times. They weren't told not to. The reporters weren't, but the New York Times was then told. I bet you the New York Times probably called and said, we need to verify this
information. Correct.
Which I'm amazed they even do that anymore. But I think that I don't know that for sure, but I bet you that's what happened. The New York Times called and said, hey, we got this story from...
do not print this story.
Do not. Secret Service probably, and they did it anyways. And so
the reporters are the ones getting the, hey, here's what's happening. Of course, I agree they should not get away with it, but who at the New York Times, the editor, who's the decision?
Oh, they'll find out. They'll find out. Those reporters.
Well, that person also.
Those reporters will flip like you can't believe.
Oh, I know. You're right. Yeah,
they're going to give everybody and tell everybody. I mean, if I had the honor to be in the press pool.
Yes.
On Air Force One. The last thing I'd be doing is getting information from the FBI or the Secret Service and then taking it over to the New York Times. Correct. That's absolutely treason. That's going against everything that just a human being, an American, is not supposed to be doing.
It should have come as a shock to you that happened. Not at all to me, because they're treasonous bastards anyways.
Yeah.
They are so anti-Trump and they're so deluded by Trump, the king, and the Nazi and the fascist and the sexist and the homophobe and you name it, that they're willing to take these risks because they're doing They're doing what's right for democracy, according to them. Their mindset, that is what they believe.
They're listening to their leader. They're listening to whoever is, we want Trump so bad. We don't care. Could you imagine the people's lives impacted if Air Force One went down? We're talking huge staff, a huge press pool. I think there's like sometimes 100 to 120 in the gaggle in the press pool. And that's from every major media outlet.
Correct.
I mean, one of my good friends that I play tennis with, her brother was Air Force One pilot for Obama.
Wow. Yeah.
And, she's not, it's not like she can share a lot, but she comes from a very high level Air Force family, obviously. And she says, like, you just can't believe what they are not allowed to talk about. You're not allowed to talk about the security on the plane, how it's enforced, what kind of weapon, nothing. It's absolutely death. You cannot speak about what.
Yeah, I believe that 100%, and it should be. That should be, and just like it should have been for these reporters too. But this, in the last 3 or 4 minutes here, what do you think about this security issue? First of all, I was a little skeptic about the new Air Force One, and like, what is the security? And then in my head, I'm like, well, they're flying it. Surely they've done all they need to do. But then there's this story that does come out, which then leads me to think, who was involved in maybe the sabotage of that plane? Was it the Middle East? Was it somebody deep state here within our own country? What do you think that all meant? Now that the story's out, whether we wanted it to or it should have been or should not, it's out there. So that makes me question, why were there security issues? What was
we know there was a credible threat.
We do know that. We do.
Okay. That information then was leaked to the media. They switched planes after it went to the New York Times.
Correct.
That's treasonous. That's right there. That's just absolutely. Bingo. I kind of always had a problem with getting the plane from Qatar.
Yep, I did too.
When that first happened.
Yep.
I've also been told that it takes quite a few years to get a plane absolutely presidential ready, like the original Air Force One is. Like that Qatar plane really wasn't absolutely 100%. It takes a long time to get everything.
100%.
Yeah.
So So what do you, I think it was it like cyber? Do you think it was like cyber kind of electronics there? Like, I think this.
I know you can't get near Air Force One. They got the F-16s out there. I mean,
so it has to be internal.
I don't even know. I mean, I think of the movie Air Force One, right? Like, how'd they get to Air Force One? How'd they get to Air Force One?
Yep.
I don't know, but they did the right thing. They switched planes.
Yep.
There's a grand jury hearing tomorrow. I'll be very excited. We'll never get the details. Those are sealed, obviously.
No.
But
I'll be interested to find out what happens.
If an indictment comes out, we know they did something wrong, and what's going to happen to the New York Times, because this is really.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
This is really bad. I mean, this is really, really, really serious.
Yep. And are you a firm believer of deep state things like this? And
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
They killed Kennedy, for God's sake. Our own country, our own government killed Kennedy.
Agreed. We're on the same page then, just making sure. So that nothing puts it past. It does nothing surprises me that something like this would happen, or there would be some sort of cybersecurity or something internal, or even as simple maybe as, and detrimental still, but as simple as maybe China could overhear conversations within Air Force One, or even if it's simply just communication. Things like that would not surprise me that was done as well. So good move. Thank God. You're right. What would have happened if something like that, took place?
Devastating.
Devastating.
Absolutely devastating.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Folks, listen, we're here in the last 30 seconds. Just a little show note. I'm not here next week, but Maureen will be. And she might have a guest. I don't know, which she's kind of taking over for me next week while I'm spending that horrible week up in Fulton County, Georgia. So maybe I'll call in. I'll report from there. But one way or the other, she will be here next week. We thank you all for joining us. Maureen, as always, thank you. I look forward to many, 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 many more more weeks together here doing this. It's a pleasure. You do great work, and it's an honor having you here. So, folks, stay tuned for the rest of the podcast here on the America First Network. Maureen, to you, God bless you, and thank you again.
Thank you. See you next week, everyone.
All right. Have a good one. Talk to you later, folks. Bye.
Bye.
This is Two Guys, One Coup. Two guys, one coup, straight truth. No spin, just a clear-cut view. Headlines hit, we break them down. No run around, we call it now. Real talk, real facts, no disguise. Straight to the point, no alibis. Thanks for tuning in, we ride with you. America first, yeah, that's the move. 2G1C, bringing truth to you.
And it's the exciting world of rubber and plastics. Been in it for 30 some years now. Wow. And so we do a lot of architectural glazing, gaskets, things like that. So I'm looking at a bunch of